Hey everybody. Wanted to give you guys an update. It's early December of 2017 now, and I think the last time I was on here was probably, gosh, July, or about 5 months ago. Um, so where things left off before was I was going to get a a test for what they call tumor-induced osteogenesis imperfecta, which basically means there's a tumor that develops in your body, usually in soft tissue or bone, that then um, creates this protein of sorts. I think it's called FGF23, and if it's elevated, it can then affect your body's phosphorus, calcium, vitamin D levels, all those things, the things that that I was deficient on, which caused my hypophosphatemia and osteomalacia. So the results of that came back, and again that was back in July. But the results came back, and that came back negative, which the endocrinologist and I didn't really think it would, because we pretty much eliminated everything else that it could be, from genetics to cancer to this. Um, so that kind of leaves us, scratching our head about what the end result was. So, or what the cause was, I guess. So, what we're doing now is next month in January 2018. I'm actually going to see a subspecialist in or at a university medical research hospital here in North Carolina, to see if they can figure out what's going on. So anyway, that's where that stands as far as the cause of the diagnosis. Needless to say, I'm anxious to get there. I wish it was happening sooner, but like most specialists, and particularly subspecialists, it takes a while to get in there. So I'll have to wait till then. So other than that, physically I've been doing better. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but my bones and the pain that I was dealing with eventually got to the point that, and the atrophy that I had from the immobility, I ended up getting to the point where I was basically in a wheelchair, because I couldn't get around on my own, and my muscles weren't strong enough, even with a walker, or much less crutches. That was out of the question. So anytime I had to go somewhere, I had to get a transport company to come pick me up, and that can get expensive quick. So I started doing in-home physical therapy, and I think I did that for about 3 months. Shortly after, maybe it was right during the last video update, but that went on for about 3 months, and really the goal for that was to get me to the point to where I could get myself out of the house. Not necessarily off the walker or out of the wheelchair, but just get me more mobile, so that I could go down my stairs, drive to an appointment, or at least have someone drive me to an appointment, whether it's a doctor appointment or really ultimately outpatient therapy was where I was trying to go next. So that went on, like I said, for about 3 months, twice a week. The guy would come here, and we would just work on mobility and strength training, doing little things, little exercises, that were progressive, obviously, to build up my strength. Um, that did eventually, obviously, get me to the point where I could get to outpatient physical therapy, and I've been doing that for about 2 months now. And it's kind of neat, because and the place that I'm going is only 5 minutes from here, which is, number one, that's very convenient. But one of the reasons that I decided on that therapy place was, and it's a private place. It's not associated with a uh, medical group or hospital or anything like some of the other major ones that you've probably heard of. But they have this neat treadmill there. It's called Alter G. Maybe some of you've probably heard of it, but it kind of works. From my understanding, it was developed by some NASA engineers, and basically it almost looks like a regular treadmill, except you put on this very nice, aesthetically pleasing, attractive neoprene set of shorts with this zipper flap that goes around your waist. So it fits tight to not super tight, but it form fits to your legs and your midsection, and then you step up onto this treadmill and you step into this harness, and you pull the bottom part. You pull this cage up around you, and it's got these heavy plastic walls that are somewhat clear so that therapists can see in there. But basically, you zip yourself into a bubble, essentially from your midsection down. And then the machine, once you turn it on, it weighs you. So you stand there and it goes through a couple of different weight cycles to where the machine's weighing you. And then you can program it to take whatever percentage of body pressure or body weight off. And it'll essentially pump up with air. And I think it works on a principle kind of like ships do with displacement and stuff. So it basically pumps up more air pressure in the bubble to take weight off of you. So you could go down to only having 20% of your body weight that you would actually feel through, your joints and down to your feet. And then you just, you can train, do your gait training or just walking in general. So it's really kind of cool. I told a therapist, I think I was starting with we start with 50% of my body weight, and then now we're up to, and then this is just for like walking. Like I'm trying to learn to walk without using my hands, because I've been on a walker now for, gosh, over a year. So, my brain is kind of programmed to, I always have to have, and really my body, I have to have something to hold on to before I can step, because that's, I think physically I still somewhat need that, but mentally it's the bigger thing that I'm just convinced that I can't do it without something. But so in doing it that way, it makes it easier because there's less, because I'm still physically trying to build my muscles up. My joints are still having some pain, but by taking some body weight off, it makes things a whole lot easier, obviously, to get yourself reacclimated to normal, I guess. So, it's a neat device, and if you guys ever get a chance to use one or see one, it's pretty cool. And from my understanding, there's a lot of athletes that use it too, just to help recondition themselves in preparations for marathons or whatnot. You can train a lot longer with less body weight through your body, which will increase your endurance. So, but anyway, it's pretty cool. So I've been doing that and that's just one of the things we do there. But it's pretty cool that it's only 5 minutes from my house. So, but that's just one of the things that we do there. Obviously, we do other strength training things. I've been doing. They call it Total Gym, which is kind of like you lay down on this sliding bench and you can do squats, or it's got cables where you can do upper body stuff. So we've been doing a lot of that. Been practicing with a cane, trying to get off the walker and at least transition to a cane, and then hopefully, obviously, it'll be nothing eventually. But still a work in progress. But it's good progress. Still a lot of pain, but it's the good kind of pain. It's the kind of that comes along with a good workout. As a matter of fact, I have to go here in a little bit to get beat up again. So. Anyway, just wanted to provide that update now that we're, I guess, 4 or 5 months past my last update. That there's really still no definitive answer as to what caused everything. Hopefully that'll come, after my visit next month to the research hospital, but we'll see. Lastly, I just wanted to talk on attitude throughout this whole thing, because and I'm not a saint on this by any means, but people that I talk to, like my therapist and other folks, they usually say, how do you maintain such a good attitude throughout all this with everything you've dealt with all of a sudden over the last 2+ years? And I don't really have an answer, because it's difficult. I mean, you're going from an independent healthy lifestyle to, nothing virtually. To having to be waited on, or can't do the simple things that most of us are used to doing in our lives. I mean, I certainly was, and I took it for granted, but I won't again. But but I don't know. I mean, I guess my attitude is I can choose to look at it one of two ways. One is, the world's coming to an end, and I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke up anybody's ass to think that I haven't felt that, because there's been a lot of rough days and nights for sure. But you just got to keep looking at it as, at least you're breathing. At least you're alive, and at least you got people around you that love you, and want to try to help you, and or at least you got to do that for yourself. I mean, if anything else, you gotta press on for you. So anybody out there who might be going through this or something similar that maybe you don't know what's going on, just try to keep a positive mindset, because that really is one of the biggest hurdles to get over. I mean, the physical part, for the most part, you can work through that, but the mental part is a lot more challenging, because that's, at least in my case, was just, for a while there was always weighing in and weighing you down. And it still does, but, and it's frustrating that I'm having to do this, and deal with this. But, I guess fortunately, if there is any fortunate thing about it, is that I've been able to see some progression, albeit slow, but it's steady. So, that goes a good way to your mindset to say, okay, I just got to keep working at this, keep working hard, and eventually, I'll get back there. Um, there was an inspirational video I watched on a guy, and I'm sorry I can't recall his name, and even if I did, I don't know if I should say it, but you can YouTube it, and you'll find it. But it was about a guy who, when he was younger, got in a car accident when he was in high school, and it paralyzed him from the waist down. And he went into a big state of depression, but he finally told himself, he said, I can choose how I deal with this. And he's still in a wheelchair, but he's like a world champion, bodybuilder. But to watch his story was pretty inspirational, because to a certain degree I could relate with some of it, because it's that sudden change in your life. You go from, I'm not going to say not a care in the world, but you don't think about things like what I've been dealing with, or what you might be dealing with, or he didn't think about possibly dealing with his situation until it happens. And but then once it does, you have to choose how you're going to handle it, and that's going to take some time for a lot of folks. I mean, it took me some time, but at the same time, it was kind of weird, because it never really sunk into me, I guess how bad off I really was. And it would strike me odd that every time I went for another appointment, or a bone scan, which, speaking of which, I did forget to mention this, that I am going back for another full body nuclear bone scan, a week from this Friday, actually. So that'll be around the 15th, of December. So I'm looking forward to that, because hopefully that's going to show a significant difference from basically this time last year when I had the other one done, and I had those hot spots all throughout my body, which showed all the different fractures. So anyway, I guess ultimately it's up to us how you deal with it, and I kind of didn't really sink in with me, because I kept telling myself, well, like when it started with my feet, well, a month or two it'll be fine, I'll be back to normal. And then it went to my hip, my left hip. Well, a month or so it'll be fine, and then I'll go back to normal. And then it went into the other hip. Well, so it was just this repetitive thing that I never really attributed it to being that big a deal. When I found out they were fractures, I mean, it kind of worried me because I'm like, well, why do I have fractures in my femurs? Because I didn't do anything to cause it. So yeah, that was a concern. But again, and it's probably naive, but it never just really, it just really never sunk in how bad I guess I was really off and what was going on in my body. Um, but you know, and it still really hasn't, I guess. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it's good because I'm not. That's part of the reason why I'm not so down on myself and thinking that you know my life is coming to an end. Um, I mean, certainly there are a lot of things. Everything about my life has changed, um, but but it's not come to an end. So maybe that's helping, you know, to help me keep my spirits up because I keep trying to tell myself, okay, I'm looking a month or two down the road, and by then things should be better. Of course, I was telling myself that, you know, a month or two ago, and technically they are better because, you know, I have seen some steady progression, but it's certainly taking time, and it's weighing on my patience, which I have very little of. But it is what it is. So I guess the point of saying all that is just to say, you know, just try to maintain a positive attitude, and that will go a long way for not only your psyche, but it will also help. And I think it helps with the physical recovery because the more the more I guess the less stressed out you are about what you're dealing with, the more relaxed your body is, and the more relaxed your body is, the more natural and dare I say healthy that it kind of feels, because you know stress builds up and it just affects you from head to toe, and I have I have no doubt that that affects your body's ability to heal. So the more relaxed you are, I just have to, and the more positive you stay mentally, I just have to believe that helps you recover a lot faster. So anyway, that's my stance on it. But like I said, I just want to give you the update and talk about a few things, and I will check back in and provide another update either after the next bone scan to let you know where that ended up, and most definitely after my trip to the research hospital next month. So um, I guess that's it. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And until the next time, I'll see you later. Thanks.